Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in EJC NFL Pod. We got a brand new face here. We got a smiling face down there as well with the Young Bucks freaking shirt on, Steelers jersey. I have a generic Under Armour shirt because I am poor, and I'm not even worried about it. Man, so I'll go ahead. We'll talk to Cam first. Cam, what's going on, man? How you been?
Oh, I'm good, man. Little Dad played my first game, first two games of softball last night. Dehydrated, as you can see. I don't have my glass of wine. I normally would, but I've been inhaling water all day, and I decided to slow down so I didn't have to take a piss during this, kind of like last time. So, but other than that, I'm good, man. I'm feeling good, living
Any,
good.
any
Living
electrolytes
good.
in that water?
Yeah, man. I slammed a Gatorade earlier, and it was pretty
What
awesome.
did it bust?
Yeah, no, like so.
You,
Funny, actually, funny enough, my son slammed it. I had a little bit, and then he went to throw something in the trash, and I didn't realize he was holding it, and all I heard was just like a bunch of liquid hitting the floor, and then a bottle, and I was like, there goes my Gatorade.
yeah.
So yeah, living great, man.
How much did he get beaten for that?
Not at all. I cheered him on. I was like, you know what? I respect it. You just, I'm getting
That's
him ready
not
for the hardcore life,
that,
man.
that's not the style of fatherhood I approach. I beat
No,
my kids whenever they spill anything. I beat them.
no, check it out. You know, when you go to a hardcore or metal show, you walk up and the first thing you do is you grab a beer and then you immediately spill it on the floor. I'm just getting him ready for it, man. That's all it is. Just getting him ready for
Fair
it.
enough. All right, so we got a new face here, Tran. Tran, what's up? Tell the peeps a little bit about yourself. I'm so upset I just said peeps. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Fucking nerd.
Christian Cage over here.
Yeah, man.
Right. What's
Be a
up,
lot of
everyone?
wrestling references.
So I'm Train. Obviously, I actually grew up in the same town as Eric, Jason, and Cam. Huge Steelers fans, obviously. But I appreciate you guys having me on here and just allowing me to participate in this. I've been watching you guys for since this whole thing started, and it's a great freaking show. So
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. We literally talked about from like our first live stream. I think we were like, we have to have Tran on here. Like, it's going to be awesome. So we all three play in the same dynasty league together. So, anyways, so we got a cool show, an awesome show. One may dare say that's an English phrase. I think people say that.
One mayor dare.
One mayor dare say. Let's roll with that. We crushed it. So we're going to be talking power rankings. All three of us. So Jason, or me, Jason, and Cam are going to do kind of a consensus power rankings, and then we'll kind of get Tran's take on the top 15 in the NFL. Going right before we go into the draft here, we're going to talk about the ideal, perfect landing spots for what we're considering the top 10 rookies in terms of sleeper ADP. And then we're going to try and get to Peter Schrager's mock draft. He did his first one about a week ago. So we're going to talk about that, what we love, what we hate. But I just want to go ahead and get straight up into the power rankings. Tran, I'll kick it off with you because, like I said, we have a kind of a consensus, and I'll let Cam kind of throw his thoughts in there. But I'd like to hear your top 15. Just kind of run through them first, and then I'll see what we got there.
Yeah. So I actually switched 1 and 2 quite a bit because I was having so much trouble trying to figure out who was going to be 1 and 2 at first. But so 1, I've got Kansas City.
Okay.
2, I've got Tampa Bay. Obviously, those two I was really fighting over.
Yeah.
3, I've got Green Bay. 4, Buffalo. 5, Baltimore. And 6, I've got Cleveland. Got my own reasons behind it. I really didn't want to put them that high, but they just,
You put 2 in AFC North rivals, 5 and 6.
Right.
Woo.
Right below each other. And
Yeah.
I really did not want Cleveland to be that high, but they keep making a case for it, and I think they're going to do well in the draft. I've got Seahawks at 7, the Rams at 8, the Titans at 9, 10. Right, I've got 10 with Arizona, 11 Indy, 12 Miami. I think they're going to do well this year. 13 New Orleans. They dropped a ton because of the whole Drew Brees thing. 14 I did not want to even put on the top 15, but just to not be so biased with Pittsburgh. But I do think they're actually still going to do well this year, re-signing a whole bunch of different teams. And 15, I've got New England.
Oh, wow. I'm going to dive into that with you.
Right. I
But
didn't
I want to say
to.
first, my dude Eric here, he said 5 and 6 with that jersey on too, man. And then Eric's a co-host on an awesome podcast that Going for Two does, Dynasty Pawn Shop, I believe it's called. It's really good stuff, man. If you're especially for your newer Dynasty folks, definitely check that out because they have a wealth of knowledge on that. So appreciate the comment, Eric. And an awesome name that you have as well. Not spelled correct, but it's pretty awesome nonetheless. So New England at 15. I have to tell you this: neither me, Jason, or Cam had New England in our top 15. Why?
Yep.
Why are they top 15 for you?
The only reason I've got New England at top 15 is honestly because of just Belichick as a whole. The guy, despite knowing that Tom Brady is probably the main reason why New England did so well for so long, you can't, you can't disregard the amount of time that Belichick puts into adjusting, everything that he's got. I think Cam will have a better year this year, and he does at least have a much better offensive unit this year. They did bolster up their defense a ton. They signed in Cody Davis, Jalen Mills, Matt Judon, took back Kyle Van Noy, and they got in Trent Brown. So, I think the defense is going to do a ton of work, and then their offense will be much, much better this year with, Aguilar, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and who's the other one? Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
So I think I battled with putting them at top 15, but I think just because of how well the coaching is, and I think with some of the adjustments they made this year, and with this kind of goes into the whole Pete Schrager thing. They might even be able to trade up for a brand new QB too.
That's fair. Hey, that's called a professional tease right there. I like it already. Cam, did you hear anything in his power rankings that you really liked, that you disagreed with, anything like that?
I was trying to keep notes as he was going. I noticed who did you have after Baltimore?
Cleveland.
It's just
Cleveland.
Pouring salt in the wound.
So I had to run off.
This is a good question, real quick. Sorry. Now, who creeps into the top 15 with a strong draft performance? Tran, we'll go to you. You just said your top 15. I know who it is for me off the top of my head, but that's just so you go ahead, Tran.
For if they have a strong performance,
a strong draft performance. Let's say they get value. You kind of how my Cowboys did last year.
I was actually going to say if they have a really strong performance, I think the Cowboys actually could sneak into a top 15. I think the Chargers really could with a really strong draft since they've got Herbert. The dude is playing phenomenal. So to be able to have kind of a really good season with, some of the weapons that he has, if they do have a really strong season, I think they could sneak into it. I don't want to say the Jaguars, but if they have, a phenomenal draft, they could. But that's
they need a phenomenal draft, and they need everybody to hit like a mofo, like
right. That's a very slight, throw in there.
No, I understand.
And the last honorable mention would be like the Washington football team. They're slowly creeping into being a great team. They just have to get those pieces in.
Absolutely. Cam, what about you? I've got your picks here right in front of me. Who creeps into your personal top 15 with a strong draft performance?
I actually was looking at a couple honorable mentions while Tran was talking. He brought up the old Washington football team. And as we all know, I'm a huge Heineke fan. So if I had my choice of anybody that could potentially slip in, it would be the Washington football team. I grew up in Virginia, man. It's
a hard habit.
It's hard. It's hard, but I would absolutely love to see the old football team come up in there, man. Because like I said, Heineke, it's going to be great.
So I'll jump in real quick. I'm the only person out of Jason, and actually all four of us, I suppose, Jason not included, that didn't have Arizona in the top 15 with a strong draft, because I think they're really top heavy. I don't think they're a very deep team. With a strong draft performance, if they could really they need secondary help like a mug.
They really do.
They need secondary help a lot, and I think they could improve on the offensive line. And honestly, they can improve with the receiving core as well if they got if somehow some of these top receivers are going to get pushed down, and we'll talk about their ideal spots in a second. But if they could get a Jalen Waddle in Arizona, Lord have mercy. Like that's like a dynamic oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. Super fast kid. Anyways, I can't think of his name.
What team's going?
He's on the Cardinals.
Bobby Boucher.
Not Bobby Boucher. Anyways, he's what he was supposed to be when they drafted him in the second round, I believe it was. So I'll say the Cardinals. And I'll just we'll go over the consensus rankings here, Cam, and I'll let you talk about it after I go through it. So these are Cam, Jason, Eric's consensus rankings. Number 1, Tampa Bay. Number 2, Kansas City. Number 3, Buffalo. Number 4, Green Bay. Then we got number 5 is Baltimore. Number 6, the Los Angeles Rams. Really high. I was very surprised to see how like high we all three had them. Number 7 is Cleveland. Number 8, Seattle. Number 9, Tennessee, because of these Tennessee fans over here. Number 10, this was the biggest surprise to me, San Francisco. We had all three of us consistently had San Francisco ranked pretty dang high. Indianapolis was number 11. Arizona was number 12 based on consensus rankings. New Orleans was number 13. The Chargers were number 14 for us, and then Miami was number 15. Cam, who were you really beating the drum for in your particular rankings? Because I mean, I've got them here in front of me. They look good. There's a couple teams here though that I think are ranked pretty high. Who are you kind of like apprehensive about?
Obviously, Tampa Bay needs to be number 1. That goes without saying. Who did you kind of see that threw you for a loop? So
honestly, I'll say it this way: we started that. All three of us had Tampa Bay number 1 and Kansas City number 2. At least EJC. The one for you, I mean, I think Tennessee's a little high at 8. You were the highest out of Tennessee out of all of us, but it goes to reason you are a biased individual.
Yeah, we show bias. We show bias here.
I thought
that's what separates us from all the experts. I show bias.
No, realistically, Cam, me and your rankings were pretty similar. So I didn't have anybody that I was like, oh my God, what the hell are you doing?
Honestly, if we're going to talk about this, so I watched the entire season last year, every game I could get, as much as I could. I watched all the highlights and everything. And one team that kind of stood out because I cross-referenced it. I mean, I had a little bit of bias. I cross-referenced this with like a few different lists. I looked at rankings and all this. And the one team that kept stepping out to me that it was crazy when I was putting the list together was Miami. And I guess it's because they're kind of like the Giants to me. I really got no stake in what they're doing and didn't really pay too much attention to them, man. So like I'm sitting there, and when I had done my initial 15, just because I did it where I just popped them off who I thought was good, obviously. And when I started cross-referencing it with rankings and stats and everything, I was like, wow, Miami is somebody I completely left off. So that one, it was just wild to see it pop up on there because I was just like, oh, shit. Like I said, because we had the conversation about Saquon Barkley last week in my, don't care about the Giants, wasn't really paying attention to them. And, so, yeah, Miami was crazy for me putting it on here, honestly.
I'll tell you what, Tran, we actually had Jason had no Pittsburgh on his, but Cam and I both had Pittsburgh at 15. Both at 15, man.
I really, like I said, I really didn't even want Pittsburgh on the top 15 for me, just to, one, not be biased, but, with them re-signing everybody and still, a majority of them. They lost, quite a few guys like Bud Dupree, but I still think their defense is going to be at least top 10 this year. Maybe not quite top 5 just yet, just because of the key pieces being lost. If they do well with the draft, I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to do because we got a lot of missing pieces that really need to be filled in afterwards. So, but I think for me personally, they snuck in to the top 15.
So I just wanted to throw a couple things out about Pittsburgh because I was looking it up. I have every intention always of leaving Pittsburgh off of any list that includes anybody that's good. You know that. I got that in.
I do.
I have some implicit bias, but man, last year that defense was incredible. I don't know if y'all top three in scoring defense, yards given up, takeaways. They were number 1 in sacks and interceptions.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they really lost as many key pieces as maybe you as a Steelers fan. It might be a forest. You can't see the forest for the trees thing. I don't think Bud Dupree is that good to be 100. Who else did they lose? Right? Or did they lose Joe Hayden?
They lost Mike Hilton.
Also, the slot corner. That's
they
right.
did lose the slot corner. And I actually do have to 100% agree with you. I was giving Jason so much shit last time because of the Bud Dupree thing. I have never been a big fan of him. I rooted for him just because I was like, you know what? He's part of my team. I want him to do well. But he had, 4 or 5 years to do what he did last year, and he never did. So for me, he was a systematic linebacker that was able to feed off of, our defensive line, to be able to feed off of people like, Minka Fitzpatrick being able to cover the whole field pretty much.
Yeah. Cam, you started saying something. I'm sorry, we didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, that's the one consistent thing with you son of a bitch. I hate it. I knew it was gonna happen. God damn it. So with Pittsburgh, I mean, obviously, dude, they're just a defensive team, man. That defense is always just good, even sneakily good, where you go back and you look and you're like, oh, they did actually great this year. And with the Bud Dupree thing, he's gonna do great. I feel it. He's going to do great where he's going.
I hope
he's going to
crashes and burns in Tennessee.
He's going to do the best. What
happened to the last edge defender that y'all brought in? Was
quit. Fuck.
But I would also say, man, Pittsburgh's got to find a way to run the ball. They were last in rushing yards last season, and and James Conner's gone now too.
Right.
So
I wholly blame that on Randy Fichtner. I mean, we did well in the first couple games when we actually did run the ball, and then it looked like he completely gave up on the run game in general. So I can't put it on James Conner. I think he's a great runner when given the chance. Obviously,
he deals with injuries and stuff too. So
absolutely, which is why I hated him. But
is there a monkey over there?
It's his bird, I'm sure.
Oh, gotcha. So, I mean, do y'all have anything else to say about the power rankings? I mean, I think we're all pretty similar. I didn't see any agree. Jason left New Orleans off of his top 15, which I thought was just crazy. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring up. And Jason was so mad at me. He wants to talk to me so bad about this, but he's got some stuff going on. His awesome band is releasing an album soon.
Nice.
They're doing a listening party at his house. So obviously that's more important than talking to your best friends. Whatever, Jason. I hope you watch this. Jason had Arizona at 5.
Yeah.
At 5. That is, to me, egregious. But you look like what do you got to say about it, Trey?
I would not put Arizona at 5, maybe somewhere within the top 5 to 10. I do think James Conner is going to help their run game just a little bit. You've got a great runner, Chase Edmonds, a decent runner in James Conner. So to be able to not only run and then have to worry about freaking Kyler Murray being able to run out of the pocket, now you've got a pretty decent wide receiving core. And here's the one thing that I was kind of saying, that if Arizona was able to trade up to do so, grab Kyle Pitts. They need a tight end. They do not have one, and their tight ends absolutely are horrendous. I don't even know if they ranked top 20 at all last year.
I don't think so. Max Williams and those guys are Dan Arnold. No.
Yeah, no. I just could. And they traded him too, so.
Yeah. So I mean, I could. There was a mock I saw recently where Arizona did actually trade up and got Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll see. Wasn't that Peter Schrager's?
Yeah.
When we talk, so foreshadow. That's part of my either love or probably hate thing, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. So that's all I really had to say about that. Jason is a moron. He has Arizona top 5. No, for real. I do think Arizona is a good team.
They are.
It was hard to leave them out of my top 15. I actually feel like it's kind of don't like leaving them out of the top 15 because I think they're that good. That division though is just a freaking like a damn, I don't know, a whirlwind of pain. It's going to be rough, man.
It's a hard freaking division.
But you literally have 4 teams that could make the playoffs.
Oh yeah. Oh,
four teams that could potentially represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, possibly. Right. Go ahead. I got an alarm going off.
Was the guy that you were talking about on the Cardinals, was that Keyshawn Johnson?
No, I actually like Keyshawn Johnson. He's a freaking white kid, and I can't think of his name, man. He's like super – Andy Isabella.
Andy Isabella, yeah.
Andy Isabella.
It's a beautiful name.
That was the other guy that I was talking about.
So that's who I was saying. If they could get Jalen Waddle and upgrade, basically, because they thought he was going to be their stretch of the field deep threat, and he actually had a few good plays. I want to say one of them came in that awesome game against Seattle last year, where they went to OT and everything. I think that was the same game that Tyler Lockett caught he had like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns or something.
He killed it.
But yeah, man, that's literally all I had as far as the power rankings go. I had a couple things written down, but they're all – listen to other podcasts. You'll hear them talked about. Let's move on. Let's move on to the top 10 in terms of sleeper ADP. We left Trevor Lawrence out because he's freaking going to Jacksonville. I don't want to
he's going
about that. But this is a single quarterback. It's not a super flex league. So who we have for our top 10 here, I'm just going to run through them first, and then Cam, I'm going to hit one, for you, and then Tran, and then we'll just kind of talk about it. But Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Jamar Chase, Justin Fields, Devontae Smith, Javonte Williams. They tripped me up with the Javonte. Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, Rashad Bateman, and the kid Rondale Moore. Sorry, from Purdue, the wide receiver, the offensive weapon, we'll call him.
Oh yeah.
So let's start at the top with Najee Harris. He's kind of the consensus most talented, running back coming out of college, the Alabama rusher. Cam, I'm going to go with you first. Who is his ideal fit? Now, and let me just say this as well. This does not have to be realistic. This is just like what would make you freaking cream your pants. Like, hell yes, this is amazing. I want to see this. Who do you got for Najee Harris first?
So I just want to preface this by saying, I gave away all my picks in the draft. So I didn't. No, I've got a great team, sir.
Listen, you do. No dynasty football.
Yeah. But I did fuck up by trading all my picks because now I have no stake in the draft. So, this whole season, off season, when people talk about rookies and everything, I'm just like, yeah, dude. But
he's just weeping on the inside because
it's a good off season too, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I've looked at it, and Harris going to New York. New York Jets.
Yeah,
he fit well with the run scheme. So that's all I really got on him. He'd be a good fit there. He'd be great for the team, for a team that is just complete trash. So, depending on who else they pick up in the draft.
They have no one at running back right now. Anyone of any note.
Right. So, at least if he goes there, he will have a showing, hopefully. They might not have a great season, but at least he can go there and show possibly what he can do. And as far as, fantasy-wise, who knows, man? If he goes there, he might not be scoring touchdowns every game, but he might be putting up some points for you. You could run him as a flex. So, I think that's a good spot for him, I think.
What do you think, Trent?
I would be fine with Najee Harris going there. My biggest problem with Harris, and as good as he really was, you had an entire really good team around him. You had
really, really good team. Yeah.
You had Devonta Smith, you had Jalen Waddle, you had freaking Mac Jones, and we're not even going to get into the conversation about how
he's not in ADP. We're not even going to talk about him. Nope.
Not even going to talk about that. I think he's more of a system running back rather than the straight up number one guy that would be like, oh, hey, he's a game changer right in here. Now, do I think he's going to be productive? Absolutely. I think he's going to do just fine. He'll probably have good 5 to 10 touchdown season if he is the starting running back, which I would hope so. I'm not a huge fan of Najee Harris, but would I take him in the draft if he fell into, say second round, third round? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he ain't falling past the top 4.
No,
bet you money on that.
No.
So this is just like we talked about. This is like pipe dreams, ideal scenarios. Yeah. Now, listen, we talked about it, right? He had a great quarterback, a great coach, a great wide receivers, and everything. The Seattle Seahawks. I know they have Chris Carson. But I think he's on a 1-year deal. Anyways, doesn't matter. Najee Harris there as the Marshawn Lynch 2.0, it gets me so excited. They run similarly, right? They freaking got run with power, agility, freaking elusiveness. So I love. I don't know. It would just make me happy to see him wearing the. Don't take Lynch's number or anything, but
no.
I would love to see that with Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett on the outside. That would be a fun offense.
It'd be a great landing spot, dude. That would be
That makes
Fantastic.
it wouldn't be great for fantasy, like maybe not year one, because he's going to be sharing the load with Chris Carson. But
Right.
honestly, Pete Carroll has showed, and I guess maybe Schottenheimer has showed that as the past 2 or 3 years as the coordinator. He wants to kind of do a running back by committee, but there's someone who always has the majority of the touches. And I could see Chris Carson being a little bit older, a little injury prone. Najee Harris coming in and taking the lion's share of those touches, kind of starting, let's say, like week 4, week 5,
Right.
something like that. But go ahead.
I was going to say it'd make it easier for them to let go of Chris Carson next year if that is the case.
And Chris Carson
That is true.
Chris Carson's a round 7 draft pick. Obviously, they love him. They obviously love him. But Rashad Penny is probably never going to work out, as Jay always alludes to. Man, let's hit up. All right, so next we got a really, really dynamic, good runner from Clemson and Travis Etienne. Tran, where would you like to see him most?
With Etienne, honestly, I would love to see him with either the Bills or actually the Steelers. I had 2 guys that I would love to have on the Steelers if they even fall that far down. Between him and someone else that's on the list, but I'm not even
I know who it is, but that's
I'll
fine.
give it right. But I think he would work well as the Steelers lead back. It would allow us to actually have a running game. It would allow. He's actually pretty good with catching on the run too. So to be able to have him not only be that dual threat, it's going to open up the offense much better. And obviously the Bills just absolutely need one in general.
Yeah. Are they going to do 3 years in a row spending a 3rd-round pick on a running back?
No freaking kidding.
Yeah.
But in a dream world, I would love to have Travis Etienne. He's such a phenomenal dynamic running back that had a huge career, season recently. So, it's my personal.
I got you. No, I hear you. That's fine. What do you got, Cam? Or where do you want to see him at?
Well, whoever picks him up, he should go in the 4th, like later, like way later, so I can get him, which would be nice. Because I got my 4th and the 5th round, so I need like 30-something. I need to go like 30-something. So in the second round of the actual draft, I don't know, dude. I guess, the place that everybody's playing, he's going to get picked up, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He'll do good there. Because he's going to be behind. What the fuck is his name? Yeah, so if he goes to Atlanta, he's gonna fucking show out first year. So that's good. If I could, like I said, dude, I'm just jaded because I can't get any of these guys. This is bullshit.
We're just like pouring salt in the can.
Yeah, this is just fantastic.
This is my ideal scenario for him. I think it works in a bunch of different levels: real life, fantasy, everything. But Miami has Savon Ahmed and what's his name, Myles Gaskin. That's their primary running backs right now. I'm pretty sure both of them were undrafted. Either if they weren't, they were way back there. But he's a little bit of an undersized back, same as Ahmed, same as Gaskin. They showed, or I guess we'll say Miami showed that they could support a really good running game, or at least for fantasy purposes. Because I believe once you factor out if you played more than 8 games, yada PPR formats. Myles Gaskin was actually a per PPR per game top 12 running back in 2020. So I would love to see Travis Etienne there. I think he'd bring a level of dynamism, if that's
dynamism.
A word. I think it is.
I like it. It's coined here tonight.
We'll make it
it's going. Well, call me Shakespeare over here. But yeah, I like him at Miami. I think the opportunity share would be crazy there.
Right. So I actually, I have like a list of teams that I think that he would be good on, and the Dolphins happen to have been one of them. So I could wholeheartedly agree with that.
Oh yeah, and they have enough draft capital to make it a realistic thing as well. So that's why I say it's a perfect combination of realism and like it'd be great for fantasy, and it's kind of just like it's an ideal scenario. So we got the darling of 2019. He did not have a 2020 season. LSU, I think he had 20 touchdowns in 2019 with Joe Burrow at LSU in that magical season. But we got Jamar Chase, man. Cam, we'll start with you this time. Where would you like to see him at? Where's his ideal scenario? And it can be Tennessee. No, I'm just playing.
No, there's so many places. I mean, as far as running backs, dude. I mean, realistically, you got your big hitters in the NFL, right? You got your mainstays. This dude could realistically go anywhere and fit right in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
You mean wide receiver? Sorry.
Yeah, wide receiver. My bad.
We're talking about Jamar Chase.
Yeah, that's shit. My bad. Yeah, no. Jamar Chase. Yeah, he can go anywhere and fit in wide receiver. I don't know why I'm stuck on running backs, dude. I'm really upset.
He could go. You're not getting any of them.
Yeah, I know. Dude, it's the worst.
Hey, Kim, listen. We'll do top 36. It's 36 and less ADP next show, and you can talk about some players you might get.
There you go. God, I hate it. No, I mean, so as far as wide receiver, man, I mean. So the one team that stuck out when I was looking at it is one team that is losing a lot of wide receivers, and a team I have a stake in is Green Bay. It would be nice to see him get picked up over there because I mean they only, if I'm not mistaken, they only have one receiver signed through after next year, and then everybody's falling off. So my thing was pick him up there, put him in. I think he'd do good there.
Oh yeah, with Aaron Rodgers there.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I love it. I think him and Devontae Adams have a pretty similar game. But I don't think that's any reason not to draft a super talented player.
Well, that's if they keep Aaron Rodgers too.
That's fair. Yeah,
Jordan. We don't talk. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all just got together and
you
guys just got together and was like, "Yo, look, just hit Cam with everything that is just gonna fucking right in his crawl for fucking dynasty. Just make him cry, make him feel bad about everything."
That's the goal. Who do you have him going to, Trent?
So I actually had 4 teams that I thought would be best for him.
It's a multiple choice situation here,
right?
A through D.
And I'll put it down. But Bengals, Dolphins, Ravens, and Saints. All of them have a need for a wide receiver or a dynamic wide receiver. But I did narrow it down to the Bengals getting them. They are higher on the draft list, obviously, technically lower on the draft list. So they'll be able to get someone like him much better. And we already know him and Joe Burrow have a good connection. They need wide receiver help behind T. Higgins and is it Tyler Boyd?
Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and they have Auden Tate, a couple of
Auden Tate. And, they're a great wide receiving core, but I think Jamar Chase would probably be, if not the best of all of them, one of the top 2. So to kind of add that chemistry with Joe Burrow, it would probably elevate the Bengals a lot better just to have someone like that. Because the guy's a monster.
Oh yeah, he's awesome, man. I really like him. That's so funny you say that. That's who I had him going to was the Bengals. But I'm going to pivot. I'm actually going to pivot real quick. And this is not an ideal spot for fantasy because they never throw the ball. But you said the Ravens, right? I mean, they need someone like Jamar Chase, like a possession type receiver. I beat the drum for Allen Robinson to go there this whole right before the franchise tag period started. But yeah, man, I actually like. I'll pivot. Just so we got a little variety here. But I like him in Baltimore. I think that could be really, really good for real life football, especially. But as far as fantasy goes, I think Cincinnati or Miami would probably be the best as far as that goes. But we'll see, man. It's so funny. I've heard some different opinions about Jamar Chase. Like he's consensus, right? Number 1 wide receiver, but there's a lot of people in the fantasy industry that I respect their opinions greatly that have him like 6th in wide receivers. I'm like, whoo, okay. So I'm going to do a little more. I'm not in any position to freaking draft him, unlike somebody else is, Tran. But who else?
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So let's do Justin Fields real quick. I think we should all answer on 3. It's San Francisco, right? Like, is there anybody else that he should go to? There we go. All right.
No, not really.
Long story short, San Francisco for Justin Fields. San Francisco. I'm looking at the camera. Do the right thing, okay? Do not draft Mac Jones. Don't do it. Good God.
And the crazy part? Mac Jones would be the perfect kind of quarterback in a New England scheme.
I mean, he really would be. And they have some people to throw the ball to now. And we might speak about another player that they could potentially get to even help him out. But let's do Devontae Smith, last year's Heisman Trophy winner. Very slightly built, but man, a hell of a receiver. Like if you watch his tape, he's freaking always open. Like he's no one can guard him.
No, the dude. He's fast as shit.
And he's fast as shit. And he's actually tall. Like I know he's thin or whatever, but he's like 6'1". I honestly, I liked after because I'm not a tape guy. I do analytics. I like the analytic part, but
Yeah.
I try and watch a little bit of film on all the new guys, especially the top guys coming out. Devontae Smith was my favorite person to watch. Like he's just, but anyways, I'll tell you mine real quick, and then we can go to y'all's. Tennessee, man, I would love to see him at Tennessee. They need some speed in that receiving room.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, not to say AJ Brown isn't fast, but AJ Brown is a freaking tank that gets the ball and just runs out like he's a yak monster, right? So I'd love to see somebody that can. And I don't think Devontae Smith's like primary attribute is to stretch the field, but I think he can do that, and he can do a lot more for your team. So I would love to see him in Tennessee. They have a real big need for receiver as well.
Oh yeah, and he reminds me kind of a little bit of a smaller version of like Percy Harvin.
Harvin was a little Percy Harvin-esque with his movements, like yeah,
and he was fast as hell. Like Harvin was like he was faster than you thought he was, and then he's already down the field. And you're like,
he's deceivingly fast. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
So see, I like that because we lost Corey Davis. So I love the thought of that. I absolutely thank you, Eric, and I would like to change my answer to the Tennessee Titans. Let's go. I didn't even think of the bias on that one. Let's go.
Right.
Well, I mean, I had Miami. I had Miami. It's realistically, I had Miami, but I'm changing it.
Yeah,
change it. We're sending it to Tennessee.
I'm good with that with Miami as well. Who do you got, Trent?
I've actually got him going to the Lions.
Okay. Yeah.
With the loss of Kenny Galladay, I mean, they still have decent receivers, but I feel like they
have
Devonta Smith would.
That's it, bro.
Right. And I think he would make an immediate impact. And that's the thing that Jared Goff needs with that new team, to have someone who can make an immediate impact. Unfortunately, their running back is still not. This is the thing I've hated about the Lions for ages. They have never had that it factor running back. And now I think DeAndre Swift may be able to do that for them.
They haven't had it in a while because Barry Sanders was pretty
right. Sanders was phenomenal.
I was just making sure. I was like,
right. But no, like within the Matt Stafford era.
Sure. Okay.
They just have not had that it factor for the running back. But you've had Calvin Johnson, who was amazing, and now you've got T.J. Hawkinson, but you have to have that running back core to really make a difference. But I think with Devonta Smith going in there, they can kind of let DeAndre Swift, kind of open up on his own.
Be the fucking man this season. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think hashtag selfish prediction. I think DeAndre Swift is by far the most talented running back they've had in a long.
Oh yeah.
So I think he can make it happen. And then you talk about for fantasy, man, he would probably come in and be the number one target right off the bat. He would have the most targets by the end of the season. So I mean that's what you're looking for in a rookie. I mean, really in any wide receiver, you want volume, but especially for a team that's going to be losing a lot too. They have a terrible defense. They're going to be playing behind a lot. Jared Goff is the king of garbage time.
Oh yeah, so, and I could easily see him with over 100 receptions.
Oh yeah, I mean he could definitely make that. I just worry about him as far as his
size,
his size goes, getting hit that many times. So we'll see, man. But no, I love all of those answers. So we got Javonte Williams next, man. What a he is to me the ideal prototype, body wise, of all the running backs coming out this season.
See, I got you fucked up.
Yeah, you did. Who do you got for Javonte Williams, Cam? He's the running back out of UNC, if anybody didn't know.
Yeah, so I actually had these two mixed up. I had wrote them down wrong. So this is what I was trying to say. With, you got your mainstays at running back and everything in the NFL. This guy could literally go anywhere that doesn't have that name of a running back, and you could pop him in almost anywhere, and he's gonna do big things. So I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see him drop him in behind Henry. Let him get some reps in. Let him learn. We got Evans back there, but let him learn. I don't know, man. I didn't have anybody for that one. I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's to me that one is. I mean, the running backs, man, are so up in the air that all they need, he's a good fit almost anywhere he goes, in my opinion. So
As long as he's not going to have a bunch of competition for touches, I think he'll be
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. As long as he goes somewhere where there's not an established running back that you know is going to be like hard
Why would
competition.
you say like Derrick Henry then?
Well, no, I want him there, not for fantasy. I
Just for
want him there.
selfish reasons.
I want
As a
there
team.
selfish reasons. So,
Yeah.
You don't
so
even
he
care
can
about his career. You just want to make sure
No.
he doesn't go to another team.
bias, and I'm here to represent it. But no,
Sorry.
But no, put him anywhere that there's not an already an established back, man, because he's going to do big things. He's going to put up numbers for anybody. And again, I'm not going to be able to get him. So unfortunately, that fucking sucks. But
So I'll jump on this one real quick if you don't mind, Tran. Atlanta is the team for me. They have no one there. They've shown that that's a good offense. That's legitimately a good offense. They're going to be in scoring position a lot. He's a great running back. I think it's forced missed tackles or something that he led the NCAA in. So man, I really like him. I wish I had, because you have the 5th and 6th picks, right, Tran?
No, I've got 4th and 7th.
4th and 7th. So,
yeah.
Yeah, man, you're in a strong position to get a couple of these guys here. But where do you like him at, Tran?
Let me tell you before I give that pick, though. Before I looked up his profile, I didn't know who the hell Javonte Williams was.
He's very no one knows who he is. It's kind of wild.
Right. Him and actually his other partner in North Carolina were both really good. But Javonte Williams to me reminds me of like a little bit of a bigger version of Adrian Peterson. The guy is phenomenal. And I'm actually just enthusiastically in love with this guy.
You're like, please drop to 7. Please drop to 7.
Maybe. But my pick isn't good for fantasy, but it's great for the team because I feel like it's going to work out in the future. Tampa Bay, because I feel like with Tampa Bay, you've got Fournette. I don't really like Ronald Jones that much. I think he's not that great of a running back. He's sufficient enough to do what they need, and especially with the wide receiving core the way they got it. But I feel like after this year, if Leonard Fournette is gone, you've got Giovanni Bernard that's gone. If Jones is still there to kind of put up competition, I think Javonte Williams would just completely take over, and I think he would do just a perfect job to be able to take over as that huge power back that's able to run over every single person that gets in his way, maybe except Aaron Donald.
Well,
he's not running over.
No one's running over Aaron Donald. Dude, I just looked up his stat. He had 19 rushing touchdowns last year.
That's insane.
19. While Michael Carter, he had 9. So like, it wasn't like he was just hogging everything. Man, that's crazy.
Right.
He's got a nose for the end zone. Anywhere he ends up, oh Lord, let's go. I love it. I love it.
Dude, I love that guy. He led the nation with 75 tackles forced like a missed.
So like yeah.
Insane.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. That's really like some Marshawn Lynch-esque stuff right there.
Oh shit,
man! Maybe I should trade him to Seattle. Let's go. So we got Jalen Waddle next. So we got 4 more people to go through. We'll hit these real quick. So Jalen Waddle for me, I did like you did, Tran. I had two teams here. So New England or New Orleans. New England because they just need wide receiver help in general, and then New Orleans they need a speedy wide receiver. I know they have Traquan Smith, but they need somebody with a little more, I think, draft capital and talent there. And by all accounts, Jalen Waddle is not Tyreek Hill. So I keep seeing that comparison. But is he like a poor man's Tyreek Hill? Potentially. He's got to stay healthy though. That's his problem.
Oh yeah.
Who did y'all have for Jalen Waddle?
I had Waddle going to Detroit. The same thing Tran was talking about earlier. They need a better wide receiver core. They need some big guys in there, and I don't know. I just think he'd be good there. And that looks like, from what I've read, it's a very, real place he could be going. So,
and it really is. It's kind of he's been mocked a lot of times. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're really mean to Detroit. Never mind.
I had him on 4 teams: Lions, Saints, Eagles, and Browns. All of them need a wide receiver. I put him on the Eagles. The Eagles really, really need some wide receiver help.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, if not, he is pretty much an Alshon Jeffrey 2.0.
And it looks like who's the kid they took in the first round last year?
Jalen Reagor.
Jalen Rager, man, he couldn't stay healthy either. So
I know.
I don't know what it is with the Eagles not being able to evaluate like wide receiver talent or what the deal is there, but we'll see. And honestly, it hurts his fantasy value as a wide receiver with Jalen Hurts behind center. I mean, it's going to be great for Miles Sanders. Maybe not so much for the rest of the wide receiver or the rest of the offense out there.
Which he is a sleeper, by the way. I love Miles Sanders. He's such a sleeper.
Did you hear? So Jason brought an awesome stat. He averaged 17.7 points per game in the 4 games that Jalen Hurts started. I was like, dude, you just blew my mind. Holy smokes. And you're absolutely right, man. As far as dynasty leagues go, if it wasn't Jason that had him, I'd be trying to make an offer, but I'm not about to give up 4 first-round picks.
No. I mean, like I said, if he was for the right price, I would definitely trade for him.
Absolutely. I'd pay a little bit. I'd pay a little bit extra, honestly, but not that much extra.
No, not that much.
So, Kyle Pitts, man. I mean, 8-foot wingspan, like all this crazy shit. That like, what was his? No, his wingspan was legit 84 inches.
It was 84, 85.
7-foot wingspan. I mean, just a physical specimen, a physical freak, incredible tight end, incredible offensive weapon from Florida. Tran, we'll start with you. I know you freaking love you some Kyle Pitts. I'm surprised that's not a Kyle Pitts jersey you have on right now.
I know. I'll put you like this, though. I honestly do not think he's going to fall far back enough for me to grab Kyle Pitts.
Nope.
And even if he does, I probably won't get him. But Pitts,
where would you feel comfortable taking? I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but where would you feel comfortable taking him in a draft? And if let's say a single quarter, like how our league is set up, a single quarterback, it's a non-tight end premium, but would you feel comfortable taking him number 1, 2, 3, 4? Like,
I would put him maybe anywhere from like 7 back.
Okay.
My biggest problem with someone who's so talented and he's marked as a tight end, you just don't know how the teams are going to use him. And especially if you put him on a really talented team that already has a couple of weapons, that kind of devalues how much he's worth at that time. Now, he may make a huge splash, but it just depends on where he ends up going.
Let's say he ends up in Arizona.
Ooh, if he ends up in Arizona, I think that brings down his draft value in terms of like how much he's going to be worth in in fantasy overall, just because they've got so many damn weapons. You got to watch out for Kyler Murray running, Kyler Murray throwing it to DeAndre Hopkins, and obviously him now. And then now you've got James Conner coming in there and Chase Edmonds getting all those touchdowns. He would be better suited on a team like the Falcons or, in this case, even the Cowboys.
Please, for the love of God. Oh, my God. If he falls to 10, I don't care who else is there. Dude. I will be, Anyway, I'm not sure if I could celebrate. If my celebration would probably be illegal.
It would make it easier to let go of one of your talented receivers to have
Michael Gallup. Deuces, Michael Gallup. We'll see you later. Stop dropping passes, man. No, I got you. So for Kyle Pitts, we'll start with you, Cam. Where would you like to see him? Where's his ideal landing spot?
I mean, we had talked about it. I'd like to see him in Dallas. If I had him on my team, I'd like to see him in Dallas.
I hate you so much for that.
I hate it.
Not you, Cam, but I hate Eric because he is loving this.
Yeah, I'm
glad this camera only goes down here. That's all.
Yeah. With Prescott, man, them two linking up, like that's just a match made in heaven for dynasty. For the actual NFL, I hate it. I think it's stupid. I don't want him there. But if I could get him, I would love to see him land in Dallas, man.
Yeah. What about you? Trent? I mean, we said Dallas is kind of a ideal landing spot. Do you have anybody else that's kind of in mind, or is it Dallas?
I mean, I had 3 teams. I mean, Cowboys, Falcons, and Cardinals.
Okay.
My 2 top ones end up being the Cowboys or the Cardinals, and my winner ended up being the Cardinals, just because of it would be the dream spot for him, because again, once some of those wide receivers are gone, they would need somebody to take in that place, and it's going to be a lot easier to not have to worry about keeping people like Larry Fitzgerald and and
AJ Green is getting old as hell. Yeah.
Right. So having someone who's young who they can build around after that with Christian Kirk. And even then, it would make it easier to let go of someone like Christian Kirk to get more value in the draft in the future.
Oh, for sure, man. And for me, I just saw I forgot to send the link in our dynasty chat, and some of our dudes are like, "What the hell, man?" Sorry, Jay. I'll send it in a second. For me, the Chargers. I would love to see him with the Chargers, man. You got Keenan Allen there. I'm not a huge Mike Williams fan per se. And you got Austin Eckler there too. He's going to catch a ton of targets out of the backfield. But you talk about somebody to replace Hunter Henry. They had Jared Cook. They signed Jared Cook, which is whatever. But Jared Cook's like 34, I want to say.
Yeah,
man, I would.
He's just a journeyman.
Yeah, and he's kind of a journeyman, exactly. And I would love to see the kind of progression with Justin Herbert and Kyle Pitts. Like their career together could be a Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates type situation again. You know, I just, man, it makes, again, it legitimately gives me chills thinking about it.
It'd be fun to watch. It like just see them like grow up together, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? That would be really fun.
It'd be phenomenal, man. And then last couple here, Rashad Bateman, Rondale Moore. For me, I'll just tell you my two quick, my one's quick, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ. This is a podcast and I can't even talk. Rashad Bateman, Washington football team, they need another receiver there. I think he would complement Terry McLaurin a lot. And that's actually a really realistic spot too, because I've seen him mock there a bunch of times. Actually, all the mocks I've done so far on like PFF or whatever, they've pretty much always gotten Rashad Bateman right there. And then Rondale Moore, I had at Green Bay. They need some speed. They need a little gadgety. I love the little gadgety guys. I love Randall Cobb was back in the day. So those are my two landing spots for those two guys. Who do you got, Trent?
Bateman, I actually had between the one that you had and the Titans. Bateman's he's a large guy. Well, not large, but he's tall. 200 plus pounds. I think he could take the place of Corey Davis pretty easily. So, you know, I think the Titans would probably be the best place for him. And then Rondale Moore, I actually had him going to the Browns.
Okay.
They need wide receiving help, and Rondale Moore is the smaller but a little bit of faster guy too. So, and I think he would complement Jarvis Landry pretty well.
I agree, 100%.
I don't want Odell there anymore.
Yeah. Who you got, Cam?
So for both of these guys, I just kind of winged it and threw it up to, man, you know, Baltimore, dude. Give Lamar Jackson some receivers. Give him some receivers. Yeah, if he throws. That's the thing. And, you know, that. And I, like I said, I went back and forth with it. I was like, but if you give him one of these two guys, right? Give him one of these two guys. How I don't know a quarterback's mindset, but you're coming in with one of these guys who are just hot shit and be like, you know what, we're gonna do it together. Because my whole thinking is everybody knows Lamar Jackson's gonna run. Let's bring in one of these wide receivers and let's fucking surprise some people this year. Let's do it. Like let's make some, because these guys are capable of making the big plays. So like let's do it. You can either use the speed on them or you can, you know. So I just had them both chalked up to the Ravens, man. Throw one of them over there.
And I'll say this: I mean, Lamar Jackson, he's not a bad passer. He threw
he's not.
He threw 36 passing touchdowns in 2019 when he won the MVP. He's more than capable of doing it. Baltimore just needs to be a little better at getting him some weapons, realistically.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
Hollywood Brown has not worked out. I mean, Cam, I like it. If you threw both of them over there, let's go.
Yeah. If they in an ideal world, if they could snag both of them, because that's the thing, man. It's just like everybody forgot about that MVP year with Lamar Jackson and his passing. Everybody's just like, oh, he's he might have had this last year where he was on his feet most of the time, but come on, man, like you really gonna write that out of just like, oh no, he's just a running quarterback now? Like, no, come on.
And it's just not the ideal scenario, I think, for a lot of wide receivers going there. They just don't pass the ball enough. It's a volume thing. He's shown he can be efficient. He's never going to be 36 touchdown passes again, in my opinion. But can he be, 30, 29, something like that? Sure, why not? But yeah, man, I like that. That was pretty fun as far as the top 10 guys go. We can try and hit. We're about 54 minutes. We can try and hit Peter Schrager's draft real quick. I'm going to go down to like what I consider controversial, because the top two are chalk. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, the Jets. San Francisco, he has them actually selecting Mac Jones. He says it's because that's the rumor mill floating around.
I fucking
hated it. Yeah, Tran's the same way. Why would you pass on the more talented quarterback for
Justin Fields.
for the flavor of the week?
Right.
Jason called it. Jason called it when he was here last time. It's this media like, oh, Mac Jones did, like, Jason sent us a video earlier in the chat of Bill Belichick and I forgot who else it was watching Mac Jones at their pro days, and
they're like,
and
he keeps overthrowing people. He's just like,
and Mac Jones's his stats are really, really deceiving because they put him in in the stats where it says like he's a really good pressure quarterback, which is technically incorrect. So he's good at pressure inside the pocket. He is absolutely horrid outside of the pocket. So and this is the NFL. This is not college, college football anymore. You got guys who are out there to kill you. So
yes,
and look, you've got take for example the Super Bowl game. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league, if not the best quarterback in the league, could not stop running. So if Mac Jones gets tackled a ton, the dude's never going to leave the pocket. So it puts him in a terrible position to be a pressure quarterback outside of the pocket.
My thing with that is too, Alabama by far had the greatest offensive line in college football. Absolutely. He had Najee Harris. He had the Heisman Trophy winner. He had Jalen. He just had a complete, like a bevy of weapons and a team. Thank you. Yes, exactly. An amazing team. It may not be that way in the NFL for him, and it rarely is. There's so much more parity in the NFL than there is in college football. So I just think that's poor, man. I don't like Mac Jones at all. Let's keep going. This is awesome. New England Patriots actually traded up to 4 and grabbed Justin Fields. I loved it. Okay, thank you. So we're the same thing, man. Almost the only time I agree with trading up is if it's for a quarterback.
Absolutely.
I really don't, unless somebody's just fallen so far. But man, I love that. Any issues with that, Cam?
No, I actually. So my whole thing is like I'm not on the Mac Jones hype with him being better than Fields, but I'm like, hey, if that's what happens, if like San Francisco was to take Mac Jones, I'm totally cool with Justin Fields going to freaking New England, man. That's awesome.
I'm telling you this much: if that happens that way, Atlanta's phone is going to be ringing off the hook. For people like, hey, what do you want for the number 4 pick? No. I don't think it says on here what they actually got for it, but I mean,
right? It would have to be a decent.
It would have to be a lot because New England moves up from 15 to 4. Atlanta moves back. Man, I'm telling you, you pick up another 2 or another second rounder, or maybe 2 more second rounders. Oh man, let's go.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could actually even trade one of the guys they actually just signed into New England defensively because Atlanta needs defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the way the Patriots offseason has been, they got a plethora of people that they can maneuver with. So make some trades.
So number 5, Cincinnati actually went with Jamar Chase. I think we're all good with that.
Yeah,
no issues. I mean, personally, I would like to see them go with Penei Sewell to get a little more protection for Joe Burrow. But honestly, I'm not gonna complain too bad if they take Jamar Chase there. I think he's talented enough. Number 6, Miami took Rashawn Slater, which I thought was weird. I think Penei Sewell is the best offensive tackle, but
I can't agree with you on that one. I actually think Rashawn's better than Penei, but it's depending.
So I'm going to steal this from it was the Locked On Cowboys podcast. Marcus Mosier and oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. I'm so sorry. Anyways, they had an awesome analogy on there. It's called the baseball analogy. If you see 2 players run to first base and they do the exact same time, right? But one player has awesome form and one player has shitty form, you're always going to take the player with shitty form because you can correct that form and he's going to be even faster. So that's kind of the mindset with Penei Sewell versus Rashawn Slater. Yes, Rashawn Slater is probably a better offensive tackle right now, but what can you do with this amazing, incredibly athletic piece of clay that you have there? But honestly, Miami getting offensive line help, I'm good with that either way.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick? I've tried watching tape on like offensive linemen and stuff, and I always end up going down a rabbit hole. And then I ended up watching this stupid video. It was on YouTube. It was of a kicker holder, their highlights. I went down where it was just this guy getting the ball snapped to him, and he get it snapped again, and then that's all. I'll send you the link. It's fucking hilarious. But like that's what happens when I try to watch tape on like
Cam is going to be Cam's going to be the premier long snapper scout in the NFL draft community.
Oh, I got it, man, dude.
You gotta catch it like this.
Yeah. I got to send you that video.
I don't like how his pinkies flare out when he catches the ball. He's moving down my draft board, guys. Moving down my draft board.
Right.
Arizona actually traded up to the Lions from Arizona. I believe was at.
I think scroll down. No,
I think it is 16. You're absolutely right. 16? They're at 16. They traded up to get Kyle Pitts. Quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think
it'd be a great. It's not a great trade.
It is probably not. It's good for Detroit. I love them. I love them moving down, getting more picks, doing all that stuff. They have a lot of holes to fill. Maybe Arizona. I mean, we saw it already. There's a lot of different opinions on Arizona. Jason had them in his top 5. I didn't have them in my top 15. So maybe it just depends on how Arizona feels about their team as a whole. But to me, one tight end is not going to push you over to the Super Bowl berth. So you giving up a bunch of future draft capital for that or current draft capital, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tran? I saw you were agreeing and not agreeing at the same time.
No. I mean, like, obviously, Kyle Pitts would be the one missing weapon that they absolutely need, but I don't think the value is there for the Cardinals to trade that far in because you'd have to give up a lot to be able to get up that far.
That's 9 spots. They're giving 9 spots. They're moving up. That's a lot,
right? And to get a tight end, to me, it just isn't worth it. Regardless of how athletically amazing the guy is,
agreed.
It's not worth it to me.
Agreed. The Panthers, they have Penei Sewell dropped to them. Oh man, I'm good with that. Like, if I was the Panthers, I'd be like, I don't really care if I need. They have Taylor Mouton, who they just franchise tag. But hey, man, Penei Sewell at right tackle for 1 year, maybe move over to the left, however you want to do it.
And hey, look, man, we've been the world has been giving Sam Darnold shit all his career. And I think having Penei Sewell and having a decent O-line is going to give him a fucking season.
And no Adam Gase. So it's like a triple whammy.
That's the big one.
Absolutely.
Denver Broncos actually select Trey Lance, which I really love there.
I like it.
And they didn't have to move at all to do that. So I really like that even more.
Don't have a problem with that one.
Yeah. Dallas gets Patrick Surtain. I like that. He's reunited with his boy Trevon Diggs from Alabama, so I'm good with that. Dallas definitely needs cornerback help. Dallas needs defensive help. Let's put it that way.
Dude, he is the best coverage cornerback that this draft has right now.
Oh, dude, I saw some crazy stat on him. He gave up I forget what it was, like 18 catches or so. Anyways, I don't want to talk out of my ass, but he's really, really good. And he tested way better athletically than people thought he was going to. So that I'm good with that right there. I'm going to skip a couple of these, y'all.
Right.
I'm going to go down to the Los Angeles Chargers at 13, getting Christian Darrisaw, the Virginia Tech offensive tackle. I love that.
I like it.
Keep building through that offensive line. Keep Justin Herbert upright. Keep the pressure off of him.
Keep him healthy, and Herbert he's going to give you the world.
Absolutely. And this is awesome here. This is one of my favorite things of this whole draft. So Detroit traded down from 7 to 16, and they still landed Devontae Smith. I mean, that would be Detroit fans would be screaming in the streets. I don't know if they'd be as bad as Philly fans eating shit off the road, but No, you never heard about that, Cam?
No, I never heard about that.
Eagles. There was an Eagles fan. It was like a viral video when they won the Super Bowl. He ate a giant a horse turd. Because Philadelphia Eagles fans are disgusting, and
they are hard.
That whole city is disgusting. But
that's the worst.
That's a different story.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia. Hit that city right on the head. Like I just imagine Charlie just stuffing his face with shit. Yeah. Oh, God.
So we'll skip down a couple more. Miami at 18 picked Najee Harris. Not a big fan of a running back going to the first round, but whatevs.
I feel like Miami would just need I would say that Miami needs a wide receiver more than they need a running back right now.
Agreed.
You can trade for a running back or a running back committee at this point.
Well, you can wait till the second or third round to get a running back. Don't spend one of those first round picks on that. Let's see. I loved the Indianapolis Colts at 21 grabbed J.C. Horn. I
Yep,
think he's the second best corner in this
he
class.
is.
For him to fall that far is incredible to me. I really, really, really like that. Cam, how does that feel for an AFC South rival to grab a really, really good defensive player like that?
Not fucking great, Eric.
Not great. Okay, well,
I
there
mean,
it is.
and
Cam
here's
with the astute analysis.
just a side note too. Freaking Indianapolis does not even need defense that much. Like they already have a phenomenal defensive core.
They have a
I-
bunch of good corners too.
I
Like to
feel
be
like
honest.
Right.
I feel like it's a slight to Tennessee because Tennessee's going right behind them, and
I know.
obviously we're trying to rebuild up our defense. I feel like it's just a slight that they're just like, you know who you should take? Fuck them. Let's get them.
Yeah. Let's just
like,
get them.
I hate
But
it.
Tennessee, speaking of Tennessee, they grabbed Jalen Phillips. So I've heard him described as the best defensive prospect in this class.
Yeah.
But he's just had a really bad injury history. He actually retired from football. I want to say it was 2018 or 2019 because of concussions. But if he could stay healthy, man, that kid, he could do really well for y'all. But it's just weird to me because like that's another edge rusher when you're trying to get like secondary help.
Yeah.
Who's the last edge rusher that you guys just had who was just injury plagued?
I'm not going to talk about this, but what I will say is that with this, I didn't know he retired. I've only read a little bit about this guy, but I feel like now I'm going to be like Winston, just like a Daniel Bryan type guy. Like every time he does anything, I'm like, I don't want to watch, man. I don't wanna watch this.
no.
Yeah, like that's scary, dude. I didn't know that.
And then we're going to move down to Pittsburgh here. They're grabbing Landon Dickerson in this mock draft. He did tear his ACL in the SEC championship game, but he was by far the best interior offensive lineman in the nation. I think that's a great move for y'all. He's not going to be able to start right away, but for the future,
I like him. My biggest issue is the ACL tear. I mean, you've seen the continuity of Marquise Pouncey. That was probably one of the biggest things that we had with Marquise Pouncey was the continuity of not being injured so damn much. The ACL tear just really kind of puts me on edge of taking him in the first round. I think absolutely is the best center coming out of college. I would prefer to have someone like Javonte Williams, but
Yeah. I feel you. I mean, I got you. I mean, there's a chance he slips to you in the second round. So you never know. But I just thought maybe this is a good forward-looking move for the organization, and I think that Pittsburgh needs a lot of forward-looking moves here lately because we talked about it before. We've talked about it privately. We've talked about it on this show as well. But Pittsburgh's all in for this year. After this year, something's going to have to happen. Just blow it up.
With the center, I will say I think it will give Benny Snell some room to be able to run. So I think he's a decent enough running back to be able to be capable. So
for sure, yeah.
I'm okay with Pittsburgh taking Dickerson. I'm totally cool with it, man. Give them all the Dickerson they want, man. Just let them have it. I love it.
So really, the last one I'm going to cover today, I think, is just going to be we'll kind of round it out or whatever. But Baltimore Ravens select Caleb Farley at 27. He was the consensus number one corner until he had some health issues. He had some problems with his back. If he could stay healthy and he could prove that he is healthy, you talk about a team that's already cornerback rich and Marlon Humphrey, all these guys. But Jimmy Smith is old. But I really – that's fine. He doesn't know where I live.
I'm tweeting him right now.
But yeah, I really like that for that team. Baltimore has always done, and I don't feel one way or another about Baltimore. I'm not like you two guys. I know y'all both hate Baltimore.
Fuck them.
But they always best player available is their draft strategy, and it always seems like they're always getting value every single freaking year. Man, Patrick Queen last year in the first round. And he was supposed to be like around like the teens. And he fell to 30 with him or something? 29, 30? Some craziness, dude. Well,
that's Patrick Queen.
That's right, you do, yep. And I'm just going to roll through the rest of these here. New Orleans, we got a couple of linebackers coming off the board. New Orleans takes Zaven Collins from Tulsa. Green Bay Packers take Nick Bolton from Missouri, 2 linebackers there. I've heard a little bit about each of them. Nick Bolton apparently hits like a brick shithouse. Like he's just a downhill, going to knock your freaking head off type thing. And then we got Asante Samuel Jr. for the Buffalo Bills. shoring up that already really good cornerback class. Kansas City goes with Terrace Marshall Jr., a wide receiver from LSU, and Tampa Bay grabs Davis Mills, a Stanford quarterback. That's weird to me. Don't like that at all.
That's
That's all, man. That's all I have for that. Y'all have anything else to say? Any words of wisdom for the folks out there?
No, man.
Nah.
I'm just going to keep Cam on here as long as possible because I think he has to pee real bad. And
I appreciate you guys letting me be on here.
Dude, it was awesome, man. No, this is awesome, man. I really appreciate it. We'll definitely have you on more. And just before we go, you can find Cam on Twitter at that guy's Cam. He tweets about once a month or so. You can find me on Twitter at Fantasy Barbecue. Cam does
not have a Twitter.
I know Trent doesn't have a Twitter. Cam does awesome videos for our Dynasty Fantasy Football League. It's the Dungeons and Drag Routes YouTube channel. Once again, it's not PC. Don't watch it with your kids. We say stuff that you're probably not supposed to say anymore. So if that offends you, sorry, man. Don't watch it.
We fucked up. I don't know.
No, but for real, thanks for everybody tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the few questions that we had. That was awesome. And then we'll definitely see y'all next time. Y'all stay good, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.